What is good, ladies and gentlemen? What is good? You are listening to the Black Baseball Mixtape Podcast. I'm your boy Cheats. I am joined by the crew on a special time. Regular day, but special time because we are all about to watch game 3 as you're about to watch it as the series shifts to LA. It is tied 1-1, which you're going to hear on this podcast. It's just a little bit a recap, a little bit of synopsis about our feelings on the first two games, who's shining bright, who needs to pick it up or not. There's a couple other baseball tidbits going on. The Orioles hired a new manager as well. The Giants hired a new manager, one without any professional baseball experience. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Before we get to the crew to talk about all the things that we talk about here on the mixtape, we got to thank our partners as always. The Players Alliance, Numbers Game Scorecards. Shout out to Rebellion Harvest, Sunflower Seeds, and Minority Prospects as well. Make sure you check out all of our partners, visit them, support them as best you can. By doing so, you support our little engine that could, our podcast that is making it all happen. Flobo Boys,
What's going on,
my
Cheats?
guy. We are here. We are ready for game 3. The series is tied 2-2. I titled this episode, we've got 2 down. What do we know? Something of that nature. It was like 2
I like
down.
that.
What do we know? So as we go around in our introductions, I will have you answer 2 games in the bag, 1-1. What do we know between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays?
Well, I don't want to take anyone else's point, but yo, I'm so glad to be back here with the crew on a Monday. I mean, World Series time, I can feel it in the air, but 2 games down, and it's already an instant classic, man. I don't know if it was the Pharrell doing the Canadian national anthem, or we saw a Blue Jays beat down followed by the Dodgers clap back in 2 games, but it already looks like it's going to be. I'm actually okay that my choices, the Mariners and Brewers, did not make it because it's already way more explosive.
You feel good about this.
I feel good about it. I'm gonna lose a prediction show, but I feel good about it.
All right. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're here. What we know right now, two really good games, two really good. The right teams made the World Series, according to you. And so far, you're. If I'm picking up on what you're putting down, you are enjoying the presentation.
100%. Let's step it up.
Excellent, excellent. Malik, shout out to you, my brother. 2 games in, what do we know?
These guys are playing to their strengths. So everything we talked about with both teams, what their edges were, they are playing to them, and we're getting some of the most exciting and I'd say engaging baseball that we've gotten in like postseasons in the past. I mean, we've had some really good postseasons, but the game quality is very good, and we're seeing a lot of small plays, big plays, great pitching, and so we're learning. What I learned is that don't miss a minute because the game can really flip on its head if you look on your phone or go grab the pot roast out the oven. You might miss something.
You might miss something. Don't blink. So what I'm
Making
hearing
pot
from
roast,
you
yo.
is, from what I'm hearing from you is, don't blink.
Short ribs. Don't get them short ribs.
Don't get up out of your seat because you might miss a 9-run inning if you do, right? Something like that. April, our resident Dodger expert, aka slash Homer, 2 games in. What do you know?
Well, I know that whatever we paid Yamamoto was worth every single penny because he has showed us exactly that he can be that guy even in these tense moments. What I also know is that Toronto is the hitting team that I also was afraid that they could show us. And finally, I think that we are seeing 2 teams who just really want it very badly. And it's on the right night, they're going to win the game. I mean, I want the Dodgers to win, but ultimately, will they win? I don't know. So it's really all about will the best team win. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna piggyback on kind of what Flobo said in the sense that 2 games in, what I know is basically in order for whatever team to win a game, they're going to have to do the things that we thought they were going to do, which is in their strength category to win the
Mhm.
game. So on our previous show, we were I think, very accurate in saying that, hey, the Dodgers' strength is going to be their starting pitching. They
Mhm.
had Blake Snell and Yamamoto game 1 and game 2. We also said that the Blue Jays' strength is the fact that they take every at bat seriously. They don't give up. They just wear on you, wear on you, wear on you. The Blue Jays won game 1, and they won game 1 in classic Blue Jay fashion, right? They
Mhm.
got Snell's pitch count up. He was over like 30 pitches in the first inning,
Yep.
wears him down. Ultimately, they get to the bullpen. The dam breaks in the 7th inning or something like that. They score 9 runs, game's out of hand. Next night, as you mentioned, April, Yamamoto, strength is in the starting pitching. The guy throws a complete game,
In
no
105
walks.
pitches.
No, yeah, complete game, no walks, which was actually fantastic as well. I think he had about eight strikeouts, no
Mhm.
walks, 1 earned run. Dodgers win 5-1, and the game was a classic. This is how the Dodgers have been winning games in the postseason and should continue to win games. So, like, what we know is kind of what we already expected. Like the Blue Jays, when they play to their strengths, they're going to win the game. And when the Dodgers, they play to their strengths, they're going to win the game. The question I'm interested in, so let's go back before we go forward, and let's dissect kind of Flobo. What was more impressive to you? And I know we're comparing apples to oranges, so it's not exactly the same. But what was more impressive to you, the Blue Jays in game 1, the way they imposed their will after time against Blake Snell, or the Dodgers in game 2, which, of course, the talk should be Yamamoto, his second complete game, first complete game in the World Series in 10 years, but the Dodgers still had to score 5 runs. And
Mhm.
Yamamoto, especially early in the game, was kind of working himself in and out of jams until he really settled down and retired 20 in a row. When you look at the kind of dichotomy of those 2 games, do you find one game more impressive than the other?
It has to be game one. I'm not knocking the idea of a complete game, especially now in modern baseball, one, but definitely modern playoff baseball, two, where, we got starters coming in for 2/3 of an inning and all that. So I'm not taking anything from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He really set back the morale, or put back the morale that they would have lost in game one the way they lost. But the idea about a team as strong as the Dodgers, for all their faults, being completely confused of what the Blue Jays were doing was something I didn't see. I wanted Toronto to win, maybe by 1 or by 2 runs. I didn't expect a pinch hit grand slam. Like that is something that it's like it would make a fan. If someone was walking the street, I'm gonna go to
Mhm.
a game. And it has to be the World Series, they can afford doing that. Going, oh my gosh, I don't know who Addison Barger is. I'm
Yeah.
going to have to do that. You go back to Freddie Freeman a year ago. I mean, there are people wearing Freddie Freeman jerseys here in Los Angeles where he really wasn't the number one guy. But after that home run, I saw a lot more of those walking around. So I got to give game one its flowers, man, because it really set the tone for the series.
Same question to you, April. When you look at the kind of the 2 games, which one kind of stood out more to you as like this is really impressive?
What the Blue Jays did game one,
Yeah.
my phone was
Yeah.
blowing up and it was crazy. But I'm gonna say game two impressed me because I've watched the Dodgers all year and they never give Yamamoto run support.
Mm.
So for him to be able to comfortably do his job and for them to support him with 5 runs, that was a complete team win for me. And the win was also impressive because losing the way you did in game one, to come back and shove the way that you did in game two, you left game one exactly where it was. And yeah, I have to give that to the Dodgers.
The adage always is good pitching beats good hitting, and it usually bears out, right? And so,
Mhm.
and what that means, I think a little people sometimes people get confused because I think good pitching beats good hitting,
Mhm.
but like good hitters can beat a good pitcher, especially if they're not pitching well.
Mhm.
Blake Snell is extremely hot going into the World Series. He didn't really pitch that great in Game 1, right? He was working himself and then Addison James threw a lot of pitches. Again, all credit to the Blue Jays there. When you looked at Malik, when you looked at how the Blue Jays, who we talk about often, really just kind of their approach to hitting, when you saw what they did in Game 1, I'm assuming you had to be impressed. But then the way you saw Yamamoto carve up the whole lineup in Game 2, slightly different lineup, right? I think Schneider made some changes based off of who was pitching. But like, I think both of them are impressive. Which one stood out to you, Malik?
For a World Series watching quality, I have to say Game 1, just because it was tied early and it was like which team is going to take it, and then those guys just ran it. I can't take anything away from Game 2 because we don't really get. I mean, out of the Dodgers, how many complete games have we seen out of that team in this season? And so now we're seeing pitchers like Blake Snell, seeing pitchers like Yamamoto really, make those dollars count in these games. People were complaining about Yamamoto for a very long time. I mean, I guess rightfully so. They never really watched MPB. They don't know who he is, and they were kind of thrown aback when they found out he was making upwards of, I guess, $40 million a year.
It's the highest contract ever signed by a pitcher.
Yeah, free agent. And so it's that game. I can't take anything away from that game, but just the way that Vlad and Kirk did, and just seeing that full offensive effort that everybody wants to see in the World Series. Everybody wants to see bombs. Everybody wants to see offense and just loud noises. So I think Game 1 took the cake for me.
Real quick, 0 complete games in the regular season for the Dodgers, 2 in the postseason, both Yamamoto.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, and let's I will you got to call a spade when I say Yamamoto would have got pulled, right? Like, you're watching the flow of that game, and don't get me wrong, he's gets in a groove. I think he retired 20 batters in a row, but the Dodgers, when they started kind of inching up that cushion, especially after Game 1 where they did use their bullpen, good and well, Dave Roberts is like, the Blue Jays are gonna have to score some runs before I take this guy out of this game. It wasn't a situation where we're watching pitch count or monitoring anything. This is a chance not only for them to get a win, right? But it's also a chance for them not to use a very depleted bullpen that they used the night before. And just to be frank, it didn't do that well, right? So I was like, after they went up, because they kind of, the way that the scoring for the Dodgers worked, it was like inching up, right? It was like the Will Smith home run ties it, Max Muncy. Then it was, you know what I mean? Like it took them a while in the game to get to 5-1, but they were getting there, and Yamamoto was getting outs. And I was like, there's no way this guy comes out of the game unless they score some runs, right, April?
Yeah, and I also watched Dave Roberts' post-game interview, and he was saying that Yamamoto was just like, he's winning pretty much. He was going to do whatever was necessary to win. So when you have a pitcher who's in the zone like that, you just have to let him do his job. And I'm actually glad to see that they gave him the moment to be able to do that, because for him to, I think inning 1 he had like 20 pitches maybe.
Yeah,
so
they worked his count pretty high in the first inning. And I was like, oh my God, the Blue Jays are doing this again.
Yeah, and so by the time he settled into the moment, because that's one thing I will say about Dodgers pitchers, they start off pretty shaky sometimes, but once he settled in and I saw that he was at like 90 pitches or whatever towards the end, I knew like, oh, they're not taking him out. He's just going to do a complete game. And Dave Roberts also mentioned he could have gone another 20 to 30 pitches. So they're in their mind, they were ready for him to go the extra mile and do what was necessary as long as he remained in that zone, which he was in.
Yeah, somebody in the comments here, I'm looking at
they said the same thing. He only threw 105 pitches.
Yeah, no, it was like, because it was like, I can't remember what the first inning pitch total was, but
Mhm.
after that, it was like 83 pitches to finish the
Yeah.
game. It was something flat out amazing, and it
Mhm.
was really cool. Like you saw the clips. I know I posted a clip of Yamamoto, like writing down notes in between innings
Yes.
in like a journal. And I was like, how cool is that? Like this guy is doing everything, and he's like going in the dugout and just like making handwritten notes about like batters, and so I thought it was so cool. I thought that the fact that like game one's always going to stand out to me because they played it at home and
Right.
the Rogers Center had so much energy.
Yes.
And again, all of us pretty much had this prediction, so it was not a hard prediction. But Drake was in the building. I don't know if Drake was in the building for game two, but Drake was in the building for game one.
He's the mayor.
What's that?
He's the mayor. Of course he's gonna
He
do
was
that.
there. He
Trying
was
to get
there.
elected, yeah.
I thought the Blue Jays did an amazing job in regards to Cito Gaskin throwing the first pitch out in game one.
Mhm.
Joe Carter threw the pitch out in game two, which I thought was also a really nice touch. A lot of us talked about the player introductions in the national anthem by
Mhm.
Pharrell and the you know fi-
Correct.
the Chariots of Fire choir, I believe it is.
Fantastic.
They were fantastic. Like the presentation of the World Series, I thought for two games was A1. The only knock, and I don't even know if it's a knock. I don't know if
If you
it's a
say the
knock.
Orioles not being there, I'm
No,
gonna
no,
be
no,
so
no,
mad.
Maybe the Jonas
Work with
Brothers.
me on this, Flubbo. Flubbo, work with me on this because I think you will have a strong opinion on this. The Jonas Brothers performance in game two, in the
Okay.
middle of the game, are you a fan or are you not a fan of this? Like in the middle of the game, they had a
Yeah.
whole Jonas Brothers, almost like if you will, like a Super Bowl halftime type feeling to it.
Are you
I'm just asking you, did you like it? Did you not like it from a presentation standpoint?
as a baseball fan, I did not. But and a huge but is I can't fault the MLB for looking at the Beyonce Bowl on one side and the Banana freaking Bananas on the other side and not try to do something. So I blame all of y'all for supporting that.
All of us.
All of you people with your Savannah Bananas love. No, it was weird. It was kind of awkward, but at the same time, man, we're talking about a generation that won't only give baseball a chance because they think it's boring, quote unquote. So yeah, World Series, the whole world is watching. Throw some more things up there. I'm fine with it.
So Malik, that's why I went to Flobo on this because again, Flobo comes from a world that entertainment comes first.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's wrong.
Entertainment comes first. This was right out of the Vince McMahon playbook.
It really
And
is.
True.
it is definitely entertainment comes first. But the question is, does it come at the expense of again, this happened in the middle of a complete game where Yamamoto had to wait not only for Stand Up for Cancer, which I do think is phenomenal. I think that no matter that's worth it. I don't know about the Jonas Brothers performance. Malik, where did you fall down on this?
I think they had the right intentions, like Flobo kind of alluded to. I think the intentions were pure. The only problem is I think that for baseball fans that have been watching this whole season and just to get a concert, it might throw them off a little bit. Maybe it was the timing of the concert. Would it get enough? I guess there would have been a conflict in viewership if they played it before the game. There's a lot of pre-game things that got to get through.
I think that's where it fits, though.
It
right?
does. I think it does. I think we've seen things like this before in the past. I think they've had concerts at playoff games, if I'm not mistaken. But I just think that maybe the placement and the timing of it. But I encourage having musical performances at games because you get more bang for your buck. You get to see an artist that you like.
Let's not forget we are coming off of a season, a regular season, where we've had I think it was a Nelly concert after a baseball game.
Yes,
definitely a Ludacris concert after a baseball game.
Luda.
Who was it? It was Nelly, Luda. Can't remember who else. There's been tons
K-pop nights,
legacy hip-hop acts performing at Major League Baseball stadiums. Go to the game, stick around for the Ludacris concert in Detroit, which I thought was bananas. He didn't do it in Georgia. He did it in Atlanta, Detroit.
That's crazy.
April, what's your read on mid game entertainment? Again, this is not New York Yankees "God Bless America" during the seventh inning stretch. This was a whole song
Right.
that we never heard of. And they're like, are the kids checking for the Jonas Brothers? I don't know.
The
What's
kids.
happening?
Look at the children.
Hey.
What's happening
Well,
here?
they're selling out. They're selling out. I mean, this is
They
what
are.
doing.
I can't.
Oh my
fault this.
god! Yeah, all those people that watch the Jonas Brothers are my age now and older, so they are. They
Right.
got money. They got
Dude,
kids.
As a wedding DJ, you know how many parties I got saved by the Jonas Brothers? I can't knock them, man.
They
No.
April, where are we on this?
For me, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I feel like MLB is kind of tone deaf whenever they choose performers for their games.
Tell that to Fat Joe in the Bronx last year.
I
They were
would-
I mean, that was tone deaf as hell.
We saw him.
That
We
was
saw
awesome.
the other guy. Now, and I'm not saying that the Jonas Brothers aren't bad, but I do believe, like, I totally get and love the nod to breast cancer. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
love
was
that we are acknowledging it. But the like mini concert within the game, I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. And to me it goes right along with the interviewing coaches and stuff within games.
I love the interview of the coaches.
I hate it.
Oh, I
hate
love
it.
that.
I hate it real bad. I like all that can go.
Oh my god.
So-
Wait, okay. What makes it tone deaf?
Wow.
The fact they
I'm
did it,
hurt.
or the fact it was the Jonas Brothers?
No, you said I love the interview of the coaches. April
The
said
coach
she
like,
does not like it.
no, but I mean, like you said, it was tone deaf. MLB is tone deaf. I was like, is it the fact
Yeah.
of the song choices, or the fact
Oh.
that it is?
Is it the
I
Jonas
mean,
Brothers or the?
yeah, I'm not a.
Okay.
I guess that's the. Then I have to think of who are the fans of MLB. So I guess that would fit. But I don't know. Well, put it like this: I'm friends with some diverse people. I don't think any of them were
No.
big fans.
In
of
your
the-
defense, they're not Canadian. I thought they were Canadian for a second. I had to go look it up. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And that was my thing. Like, can we at
Are we-
least give a
are we-
nod to somebody who had?
I was gonna say,
that?
are we burying the lead here? Which is, we just said this. Drake was in the building. If they throw, I'm in Canada at the Rogers Center.
you
they
throw
throw-
Drake and then that's what you got to do in LA.
You
And
can't
then you
do
got to
it,
put
man.
Kendrick out there.
No, they've
I
got.
don't think
they've
that
got-
MLB wants. MLB does not want someone like Drake to overpower the moment that you have.
I'm
That's
telling
how
you
I
now,
think.
this is what you do. You whatever you do, you cut to have them do like started from the bottom and trophies. Call it a day. Like you don't have to do any of the content. Like the dude has some of the biggest hits in the world in Canada. You put him or the Weeknd. There's only two people you can put in there. Is Katy Perry? Where is she from? Is she Canadian?
She's
can't go.
California.
She can't do it.
California
Okay.
girl.
I was
I
like,
mean,
you
she's
put-
dating
you
the
put Drake-
former prime minister now of Canada. So
I was gonna say
That's
you
a
put
good.
Drake and you put the Weeknd. You call it a day. But I was like, if you're gonna do it, you have to go. You have to go bigger. You have
Here's
to-
why that
I was
doesn't
gonna
work.
say, I think the Weeknd would have been fantastic
He would've
because
done
he
it.
is like across all genres, and I'm talking about children and older people
Here's-
love him. My students go
Yeah.
crazy over him.
Look, again, last year they had Ice Cube and Fat Joe. That's what they had last year.
I
That's what they had
remember,
pre-game.
unfortunately.
So I don't know if Major League Baseball is overly appeasing every audience. And if you've got the king of the six and Drake,
It will
you
not
use
work
them.
with Drake.
Hey,
It
you
they
won't.
have to they have to
You
alternate.
use them.
Yeah, it
Too much
wouldn't
hip
work.
hop. You got to alternate. You got to do a little
Hey.
pop.
Right.
You know
Right.
what? They gotta have Celine sing the national if she's well. They have to have her singing the national anthem if she's well for Game 6. Like I don't see anyone else being able to do that. I'm saying
Blue Jays in 5, first of all.
that.
So we
Dang,
switched to
game
LA.
6.
Oh, speaking of which, so they did not do the State Up for Cancer in Game 1, right? They just did it in Game 2.
I don't remember that.
I didn't notice.
Is it every
Did you
game?
do Game 1? Huh?
Is it done every single game? Like in
I
the World
don't
Series?
think so. That was the thing.
think
It
it's
was like
one
a
dedication.
Stand Up for Cancer, and I know they do it at the All-Star game, and then they've done it. They did it in Game 2. They switched to the performance. I don't remember this happening in Game 1, and I was watching Game 1. I would have remembered. So yeah, I was like, I don't know if you're gonna have that opportunity. You know what I mean? In LA, if I don't know if they're gonna do something like that again. LA again last year there was a pre-game performance from Ice Cube last year in LA.
Mhm.
Same thing with Fat Joe in New York. So we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. Let's really quickly. We're going to shift gears to Game 3. We talked obviously a lot about the brilliance of Yamamoto, which is a little bit unfortunate for the other pitchers because look, Kevin Gausman was pitching well to a point. Till Will
Until
Smith
that
really got a hold of him,
Mhm.
and I guess they, two batters later, it was Will Smith. He strikes out Teoscar, and then Muncy hits another home run. Gausman was actually doing,
Official.
doing well, and I felt really good. I felt a positive feeling because they talked about a guy like a journeyman, if you will, like Kevin Gausman, who was obviously signed with Toronto 4 years ago. He's the ace of the staff. He goes playoffs, last place, and then World Series. But Gausman was the type of guy that was like, when we signed with the Blue Jays, we really thought this would be kind of the norm. Like this would be where it is, and for him to get the opportunity to pitch in the World Series and pitch fairly well, um, guys like Gossman, I thought was a good story. Snell, we talked about a little bit, struggled. Savage, I mean, it's a great story. It looks like he really does have nasty stuff. Obviously he wasn't like lights out in game one. So I just thought that we're getting quality pitching, but it's like, the story for the first two games is going to be Yamamoto. Did anyone else for the group, did anybody else pitching wise kind of make you be like, that's interesting. Good performance.
I'd say Savage still impresses me. A guy that came up from single A,
Yeah.
um, is able to baffle big league hitters, namely the Dodgers and the previous series with Seattle. His ability to get double plays, outs, and ground ball outs is pretty underrated in the league that where we um, glorify the strikeout a lot. I mean, it's great to see, but to see how he's able to kind of save his bullpen a little bit with some of those defensive plays that the team makes behind him. He's not really making selfish pitches. He's not trying to blow guys away. Of course, he's 22. And it's not even about like how fast he's throwing; it's from the angle in which he throws the ball.
Right. It's like
And
that. They
how
showed that overhand angle with the splitter, especially.
it almost reminds me of this is going to be a bad comparison, but y'all remember Matt Latos? He would like drop his arm all the way down here and just like come all the way from the top. But it's just a funky angle. He has some really good vert on his fastball, which means that the ball it appears to be disappearing for certain hitters, or what some would say rising. But it's coming from an angle that doesn't really make sense. And so it's kind of playing with gravity and physics for a little bit. So I'm very impressed by this rookie pitcher. He's young, and we never see this. Like pitchers come from the lowest rungs of the minor leagues and just shot up to the.
But I mean, hey, look, to be honest with you, we saw it twice this postseason, right? Because there's a guy in New York named Schlittner, right?
Right.
No.
Come on,
No?
man. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. Like I'm not even. Trust me, I'm not here to jump on the Yankees this week. I swear.
No. Explain how.
Did he pitch in single A this year though, Slittler?
He's starting double A.
He started in double.
Double A. Yeah, this is a little bit.
So tell me why you think that it's because I have a reason why I think some of these guys are effective right now because Savage was on start number 6 and Schlittner was also on like a very low, like these guys hitters hadn't seen these guys, they hadn't gotten any tape on them, and so I'm curious now, Flobo, how is this a different situation?
I mean, I got your shout out to. I was there for Jonah Tong's debut, who has not as good stuff as those other guys, but I do think they will be in the conversation later.
No, I think he's got. No, I disagree. I think he has that good.
I don't know.
Tong
got some.
He's got some stuff.
I like him.
Is sick.
I like him. He got some bad breaks this season. But what I'm saying is, with Schlittler is that even though he came up the way, right? Sorry, family show. He came up the same way. It was great. But I'm saying the story, right? I'm not talking about skills. I'm talking about mechanics. I'm talking about stat lines. The story of someone starting in rookie ball and pitching game 1 of the World Series for a team that hasn't been there in 30 years. That's the things that kids come up with on the sandlot. Like if your Savage sticks around, that's going to be a thing people talk about. I do understand it's a very entertainment answer, but Schlittler wasn't on a team that did not go as far. It would probably be relegated to a footnote by the casuals.
Yeah, I think if you look at the postseason in totality, I understand what you're saying. The Blue Jays went further. I'm also. What was that game that Schlittner took the ball in the Red Sox game? What what game number was that? Was it game? It was
It
One
game.
or
was,
two.
I think it was
One or
two.
two.
Two, two.
It was
I
Yeah,
two.
think
It
it
was
was
two.
two.
and I think when you look at the postseason, I think the story will definitely be that the Blue Jays went further. You Savage pitched in the World Series and will continue. You might get another game, right? But I just think that the narrative that these guys, these young guys with really good stuff, and again, I think Jonah Tong's in this category as well. You're gonna have to wait till next year to see if these guys, to me, are
Legit.
bona fide stars, or is it just that the league hasn't caught up with them yet? And we see this over and over again. And usually what you see is a phenomenal rookie year, right? Like a phenomenal rookie year. And then the caliber of
I was
hitters
about to say that.
catch
Yep.
up, right? Guys like Hideo Nomo. Like the guys I'm thinking of in my mind is like they come in, they're super awesome, and then hitters adjust, and the good pitchers adjust from the hitters adjusting, right? And like I said, all of their stuff, it's 2025. So what I mean by that is like all of these pitchers are bigger, stronger, faster, right? Like again, we're this postseason, we're talking about guys hitting 103 on the black,
Mhm.
you know, like one, like 103. Like it's insane what they're doing in regards to bigger, stronger, faster. So I think you're going to continue to see explosive stuff. I will be interested to see guys like you Savage, guys like Schlittner, guys like Tong in the long run. These like younger guys, are they going to be able to do like what Paul Skeens has done this year, right? Like,
Yeah.
McLean.
folks,
Yeah.
and a lot of folks
Definitely.
who weren't, the question was, are they going to adjust to Paul Skeens? They didn't, like Skeens didn't have to. He was awesome this year. You know what I mean? So it's like I'll be interested to see. Let me go back to one thing because we had a
Can I
comment. We had a
can I add
comment
anything
in the
too?
chat. And this is, again, no surprise surrounding April and her outrageous comments about hating in-game interviews. Like, talk to me, April. Talk to me. Because, I mean, I watched a lot of football over the weekend. They interview them, the coaches, as they're running on and off the field for halftime, right after. Like, is it because you think the coach is supposed to be focused on the game at this? You don't like the dugout interview? What is the issue here?
I don't like any in-game interview of any sport. I don't care what it is. I hate whenever they do it on whenever they did it on ESPN
They
when
do,
they had
yeah,
the
they do it in the
players
NBA. They
lined
do it
up.
in the
You know,
NBA.
they're not doing it anymore. But I don't like it because I just feel like it takes away from the momentum and it shifts what I should be watching. Like, why am I watching the manager talk about what's happening in the game? Can you let the manager do his job and actually manage the game? Are these coaches? And then you see people say, "Oh, well, he was a little testy." Well, what were you expecting? He's literally in the middle of the game, focused on how to keep his players or her players motivated for whatever they're supposed to be doing. And here you go with a mic in their face asking them a question. I just don't know where we got to the point where we think that this is something that I need to see in that moment, but I'm totally okay with them removing that and just allowing, well, coach, what do you think about the first half? Or coach, what do you think about the fourth inning? I mean, they just scored 10 runs. What do you think? I think what are you
Wow.
expecting them to say?
little
So
test of yourself.
Yeah. Brian Kelly loses his
I
job. She
mean,
gets mad.
Yeah.
that's essentially how it goes. And so I just don't know exactly what you're expecting from this. Let the players and the coaches and the managers play their games and then ask them what you need to either before or after the game. That's
I,
just what I'm doing with
for the
me.
record, I will let other people get in this, but for the record, I cannot disagree more.
It's
I
fine. It's fine.
I love these interviews. Let me ask the group this. We know where April stands on the interviews. You know where I stand on the interviews. What about the mic, like just being mic'd up? Do you like the players being mic'd up? Do you like again? I know where April's going to stand on this. You're going to know where I stand on this. I will say this. I don't mind the manager interviews. I do think Sunday Night Baseball player interviews in game that are mic'd up in their ear, which they have done all year this year. Like literally pitch coming, they're talking to Carlos Correa at third base. I think that's a bit distracting. I think that's a disservice to the team.
Yes.
However, I love it as a consumer. I love it all. What do you guys think of the players being mic'd up like during game to like get the footage? You know what I mean? Like, Flobo, you go ahead.
I'm torn because I have like sideline reporting experience. So I am asking the coach, "How'd you feel losing today?" So shout out to April for getting that.
You've been that guy.
Coaches are fair game. Coaches and managers are fair game. I think you have press conferences before and after. There's usually like, we're going to have this strategy, and that strategy didn't work. But I do think there's some value in extracting things in real time. Miking up players, for what I understand, I think ESPN writes a check for $50,000 every time someone agrees to do it. So I understand people use that for like their charity and initiatives and like that. I don't like that. Because if it makes you feel any better, April, the one thing I remembered was the All-Star game 2 years ago when they had Manoah mic'd up and he beaned somebody because he could cross up his catcher. And I was like, there ain't no way that's the best way to do it. So I love coaches, players not so much.
Malik, where are you on the coaches interviews and the mic'd up?
Okay, so I think with the coaches, I think that we might not see that there's, other coaches on the team that this 26-man roster may be interacting with at the time. You know, they got hitting coaches, bench coaches, pitching coaches, other guys down there, trainers, random people, interpreters. So there's a lot going on down in the clubhouse during the game. And managers, of course, have to be locked in. But I think that they're fine for those 15 to 30 seconds of the interview. You know, the manager is pretty much the face of the team's voice. You know, they're the voice of the team. And it's kind of what they sign up for. I don't know if coaches get paid for that. Probably not. But I think that for managers, it should be all right because it's frankly what they signed up for. Aaron Boone is out here on Talking Baseball. You know, he signed up to be the representative of the team in any case, and they can ask them any question, and it can be during the game. I think it's fine, especially since it's not that long, and they got a whole staff to watch that team. You know, they don't need those 30 seconds aren't going to hurt them. As far as players, I think it can be kind of dangerous. You mentioned Correa being at third base, hogging the third base line. We've never seen an injury from a mic'd up interview. The probability is really low, but I just don't. It doesn't trade on certain plays. It can be risky. We've seen it with Albies. We've seen it in outfield. So I'm not all the way agreeing on them, even though I do enjoy them. But if they were to continue it in my world, I want them to be uncut. I want all the cuss words. I want to hear what they really got to say.
I agree. I will agree with that.
You know what's funny is
catered to the audience.
Again, being mic'd up is a really big thing in the NBA, where they're micing up a player the entire game, and I did not know until later in life that all of that stuff, even the stuff that you hear in the NBA, like when they're on the court, all that stuff is edited. It's like edited for language that's edited for, you know what I mean? Like certain things. And I was like, oh, that's crazy to know how fast they can do those edits and like make sure that they're not giving away any information. All right. So I think we come down on this. Well, I know where most people come down on this. April's anti everything.
And the people in the comments agree with me.
I am pro manager. I am pro mic'd up. I am anti in-game interview for player. Especially in the postseason. I may not be that off on it on the regular season, and this is why. I do think that we fans of baseball universally, we have to continue to do things to make the game entertaining, to make the game, and I think like being mic'd up is way more entertaining than say random performance concert. You know what I mean? So like I'm looking at what my son's looking at. And if he sees like, ooh, like Julio Rodriguez is mic'd up for an inning, he may actually sit and watch that inning just to like see the mic'd up action. He loves that stuff. He eats it up on YouTube and other places. So like I think those types of things make the game more exciting for the consumer. I'm one of those consumers. I enjoy it as well. So like that's where I am on the managers is a little bit more like strategic, probably for older heads like us in that sense. But I do like it. I do like because they're talking about pitch count. They're talking about with your bullpen philosophy a little bit, like, how long does this pitcher go? You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like to hear some of that stuff as well. So, with that said, we're about to change gears because we are literally about 20 minutes away from Game 3 in LA. This is the Black Baseball Mixtape Podcast. We want to thank our partners, the the Players Alliance, Numbers Game Scorecards, Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds, Minority Prospects. We want to thank them. Make sure you support them. And a huge shout out, really quickly, to all of you who are subscribing to the podcast, commenting, and listening. You guys are fantastic. This has been a heck of a season so far. We really appreciate you. Now, let's turn the page a little bit because we have game 1. Well, not game 1, but game 3, the first game in LA. And that game will feature Tyler Glasnow on the hill for the Dodgers and Max Scherzer. That's right, Mad Dog, crazy Max Scherzer. And I don't know if it was Flo, but somebody sent around a clip earlier today about folks not talking. Like, do you talk to Scherzer before the game? And it was like it's just a hilarious compilation of folks like basically saying on game day for Scherzer, like how afraid of them they are,
Right.
like how absolutely like of a lunatic this man is. And I guess the rule is you can talk to him before he puts his headphones on. It's not like you're not going to get much, but if you talk to him after he puts his headphones on, be prepared to like receive his wrath, which is really, really hilarious. With all that said, Scherzer takes the bump for the Blue Jays. Glasnow takes the bump for the Dodgers. What do we expect to see in Game 3, Game 4? Is it 3, 4, and 5 in LA? Then Game 6 and 7 are back in Toronto.
Yes.
I like that format. We know it's going to be Glasnow and Shohei. We know it's going to be Max Scherzer and Shane Bieber, right, in Game 4. How do we think the next 2 games play out starting tonight with Game 3, April?
I was actually shocked that they went with Scherzer for 3 instead of Bieber. I don't know about y'all, but I think that, of course, the Dodgers come out on top on tonight. But I also think that we get to see more of a show from Glasnow as well. Typically, when you hear Glasnow's name, people in my texting me were calling him Glass now because they say he's made of glass. So yeah, there are people who are like, I don't know how much this is gonna go and so forth, but I think that Glasnow is going to show up and show exactly why we got him. But I also think that he is highly motivated by the people around him. So the way he talks about Yamamoto and the way he talks about Snell and Shohei, it seems that he's not just doing this for himself. Like, he wants to be a part of this elite group of pitchers and show that he too can do this. I have a certain feeling about Max Scherzer, but I'm not going to allow my personal feelings about him to interfere with this. I think at home, especially being what happened last time, Dodgers he was on the Dodgers. I think that the Dodgers do show up against Scherzer.
All right. Flobo, what do you got?
I understand that the Dodgers have a chance to really put this momentum back and put them back in the driver's seat. Going back to LA, it's kind of a fortress Dodger Stadium is. Maybe not so much this season, but historically so. But Max Scherzer is like just a last of a kind of like folk hero, this old man that just goes out there every so often. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the Nationals or the Tigers or the Mets or the Dodgers, you know when Max Scherzer let you down. But at the same time, you can't write him off. And to me, that is just so like interesting. And it's I want to know, to your point, yeah, he could have been a Game 4 option, but he's Game 3 for a reason. So that's what I'm looking at. Does old man Max still have it in the tank? And we're gonna find out a couple hours from now.
Yeah, I mean, I think April and both Flip, I think you're both right. Malik, I guess the question we have in Game 3, who do you think has more to prove in this situation? Is it Scherzer or Glasnow?
Ooh, I mean, I don't think Scherzer got nothing to prove to anyone. I mean, this guy is a World Series ring holder. He almost looks like Thanos. I mean, like, I mean, he's already gotten a ring. So I mean,
He's got two,
I
Two
right?
think
rings,
Some of the
yeah, I
Rangers.
think
two
yeah,
rings, three Cy Youngs.
exactly. So he's been the dog. We know that he's not this Scherzer, but I'm like he's older. We expect this.
Hey,
But the type of game, the type of game that I'm expecting is that Glass now is going to be facing a team that likes to watch pitches. Glass now is kind of like his counterpart from the Rays, Snell, kind of came
mhm,
from the same development
mhm,
background. And these guys like to play around the zone. Glass now throws a really dirty
mhm,
I called it, almost called it a changeup. It's a curveball, a churve ball, whatever that is. It drops so dramatically, but it usually doesn't hit the zone all the time. So you got players like Vlad, Clement. Some of those hitters are going to probably be watching pitches. In his last few starts, he always lets up a few walks every game. So this is a very different team that Glasnow is going to be facing. So I think he has more to prove because of the very fact that he's looking to get a ring himself. So I think it's really his game to prove.
On the thing, that's an interesting question because I think on the who has more to prove, I'm gonna probably say it's a push. Maybe like if you put in kind of historical context, it would be slightly Glass now, but I'd probably say it's a push. I'm gonna push back on anyone that says like Scherzer doesn't have anything to prove, and career wise, he absolutely doesn't. You're right. You said it. 2 World Series rings, 3 Cy Youngs. Max Scherzer is the first person that's gonna tell you that was yesterday, and I'm not thinking about that. His Max Scherzer has to prove that the Max Scherzer that takes the hill tonight still has it. Like, still has the ability to give you 6, 7 quality lights out innings and be a guy that we kind of remember. Now, he showed kind of his mettle, right, in the ALCS. Showed
mhm.
his, like, he hadn't pitched in what, a month before that? He hadn't pitched
Right,
in a long time before that. He gives a good performance. He's, doing his thing that he does. Um, but with that said, I would think on this. I mean, the Dodgers are favored to win tonight, and I think they're favored to win tonight for a reason.
Yeah,
Um, People think that Scherzer is vulnerable, especially to the Dodgers lineup.
I
The
think
Dodgers
so.
are all the Dodgers are also at home. Um, so I'll be really interested to see if he has it, and if he has it, how long does he have it for? Because Scherzer could have it for 3 innings, he could have it for 4 innings, and then the Dodgers could kind of turn the tables on him pretty quickly. Um, I think the thing about Glass now is that he's got all the tools in the world, he's got all the ability in the world. Um, and I think, like you guys say, all pitchers are competitive, especially at the levels that they're at. And he's kind of right now, he's kind of like the Steve Avery of the group. And what I mean by that is Steve Avery is the guy that pitched alongside Maddox, Schmaltz, and Glavine, right, in the '90s. A lot of folks don't remember Avery as you know what I mean. So
mhm.
they've got Snell, Yamamoto, and Shohei, and Glasnow's there too. Is he going to be one of the guys that can solidify good enough performances for when they talk about this World Series historically? They're gonna mention Tyler Glasnow along with they're gonna mention Yamamoto already.
Right.
They're gonna mention Snell's performances getting them to the World Series. Has Glasnow done anything in this postseason that makes you think that he's one of those dudes? He's cut from that cloth.
I,
Especially with the cramping and the blisters that he's had, that was really a concern for me. So I'm hoping that he's able to, get through to have a really good outing personally for himself, not
Mhm.
just for me being a fan. I want this for Glass now for himself.
We shall see. We shall see. What do you expect these next 2 to 3 games to look like? I mean, obviously, we've got more games to come. 1-1 tie as we move into game 3, game 4, game 5 in LA. Do we have any expectations, any predictions? What do you think is going to come out of these games?
I think that the offense is going to skyrocket more than we've ever seen. I think that these guys have gotten enough at bats. They've gotten so many at bats against other bullpens, some of the best pitching they've ever seen. I think that after these first two games, they've gotten some fairly good offense. I mean, the first game was a banger, and then the second game was a baseball game. But I think that these hitters are really just going to lock in and just take some of the best swings they've ever taken all year. And so I think the offense is really going to go up in the next few games.
And also shout out to Bo Bichette. He will be playing tonight, and he will be playing second base because y'all know he did not play in the last game.
Mm-hmm. They said he was wearing a little bit of a brace after the game because he's been maintaining that knee.
Wild, man.
Yeah, bionic knee.
Warrior, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bichette actually brings something to that lineup. We saw it in game one. I want to say it was like first at bat. He shoots it opposite field through that gap. Did he pinch hit in game two? I think he did, right?
He did. He
did pinch hit in game two, but he, not mobily moving around as well as he should. I think the report was he feels pain everywhere except the batter's box. So he feels fine in the batter's box. He feels pain everywhere else.
That's some Vin Diesel-ish right there.
Yeah.
I don't feel pain. The batter's box.
I wish they could just
Whatever they do with Freddie is what they need to be doing with Bo. Like Toronto, I mean, I know we probably not giving those secrets, but whatever they did with Freddie last year, that ankle is probably what they need to be doing with Bo.
They probably with duct tape, some planks of wood. Freddie was out there just like trying.
Yeah, Freddie's a dog. He got years in the game, so he's probably just sucked it up and just found some doctor in the clubhouse and said, "Give me that."
The last thing I will say too is I'm very interested to see exactly how Vlad performs tonight and throughout the rest of the series, because y'all know Vlad he makes me extremely nervous when he steps into that batter's box. I was actually surprised that we continued to pitch to him because y'all know I'm like, I ain't pitching to him. But Yamamoto shoved against him, and I was very impressed to see him be able to get the W over Vlad. So little victory, but what will Vlad do the rest of the series? Yes, I'm a Dodgers fan, but I'm a huge Vlad fan, and I think that I've become even more of a fan watching him this postseason.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that stands out to me on Vlad, just watching him kind of a lot now in the postseason, is how well he plays defense.
Yes.
Vlad's ability to move at first base, get the glove down, make really amazing plays. He made, I don't know if it was game one or game two, but he made an over-the-shoulder catch going to right field that, like, he did it with such ease that I was like, oh my God, that was a really hard, amazing catch. And he does like a running out to right field basket catch, just throws his glove out at the last minute and catches it, and super smooth with it. So not only is obviously he hits a ton, his defense is amazing. His baseball IQ is phenomenal. He runs the bases extremely well as well. So I think Vlad is definitely one of those guys where if you start to watch him day in and day out and get a real appreciation for what he does on a daily basis, it's pretty impressive. As we move on, Flobo, how many in the cage Shohei shots are we going to see over the next 3 games?
Man, I don't know, man.
There are a lot of batting cage in the tunnel Shohei shots.
I won't be surprised if it's going to be like some sort of like web series, just a beam to Japan about him just practicing, sitting around, tussling his hair, like anything like not baseball related. But that's what it's about.
Like, I know that players go into the tunnel, they go into the cage during the game, but it's like they are literally showing Shohei Cam taking hacks in the cage during the game. I was like, this is fantastic. This is fantastic.
Man's a legend.
Quickly, let's switch gears here before we finish up. We'd mentioned it at the start of the program. Some managerial changes in Major League Baseball. One of them seems pretty, like, not necessarily predictable, but makes a lot of sense with the Orioles. And then picking up, I'm going to say it wrong, Alberzane. Is it Craig Alberzane? From the Guardians organization. He's the associate manager. I want to say he's 43 years old. Really, of what I've read, I was not familiar with him prior to the hire within the last 24 hours. Everything I read about this guy seems to be really like on the up and up, positive. 8 years of a affiliate ball, minor league catcher. Then he's worked in the Rays, Giants, and Guardians organizations. Kind of labeled a rising star, both in the kind of analytics department and the old school scouting department. Seems to be the guy that can like bridge these gaps. With that said, Orioles got a lot of young talent that needs to be cultivated, and if not outright developed, they need to be kind of bought together to kind of produce a new level of wins, especially coming off of last year. I will be interested to see what happens with the Orioles organization. With that said, I will be more interested to find out what's going to happen in San Francisco, because Buster Posey makes a move. He gets the
Mm-hmm.
guy that he wants, Zvotolo from Tennessee,
Let's see.
D1 stud of a coach, national champion baseball coach. However, this gentleman has zero professional baseball coaching experience, zero. And now he's going to be the manager of the San Francisco Giants. I'm fascinated to follow and see how this works out.
There's that word again.
Mhm.
Look, the floor is open. I just wanted to is what is I mean, again, San Francisco to me is going to be one of the more interesting stories of all of Major League Baseball next year because of who's managing them. The floor is yours. Flowbell, I'll start with you. Any thoughts on kind of the managerial hires? Are you I mean, I think everybody's a little bit surprised about San Francisco, but do you have reservation, or is this like a Posey move for you?
I love the word fascinated. That's this year's theme is the word fascinating from
I love
Cheats.
that word as well.
But it's the questions are being raised here, right? Look, college ball and pro ball is different. We all know that, and we also know that Buster Posey was trying to do this community kind of feel with the San Francisco Giants. He signed people for long terms. He wants to build a family. He wants people to care about the organization. So it makes sense on that level. Here's somebody who's young, who was theoretically cheap. He took a pay cut to go to the major leagues. At the same time, you have a franchise with its fan base which is loyal but frustrated. They're not like the Rockies. They're not going to keep going to games just because tickets are cheap. They demand something, especially in the NL West, how volatile
Tickets are not cheap in San Francisco.
They're not, or volatile places 2 through 4 are,
Right.
in division. So there is a bit of expectation. So it seems like an odd choice, but Buster Posey can end up being crazy like a fox if this all works out.
I'll throw it back to Malik and you, April, as well. I also failed to mention Kurt Suzuki in LA. So whatever that is, because Albert Pujols is now still on the market, by the way.
How do you give a guy a 1-year contract? Sorry, not about the point, but the Angels, they give a guy a 1-year contract right before a lockout. What the heck is going on over there?
So Suzuki's in LA. Baltimore's got their guy. The Giants has got their guy. Again, Malik and April, as we wrap up here, is any of these hires kind of stand out to you?
Go ahead, April.
The Tony Vitello hire definitely stands out. Well, it's a win for women everywhere. If you're a women's sports fan, they definitely love the hire. But I will say I'm interested to see how he translates from college baseball to the pros. And I've wondered if this move somewhat was to kind of follow what Pat Murphy has done. Y'all know Pat Murphy was previously in college and then he moved up to pros. And is this a way for him to be able to work well with guys, build a relationship, and so forth? Or is this just a winning mentality type of guy? Like, you know exactly what you're getting with the coach that's coming from the SEC. Like, he has a dog mentality already. So bringing that mentality to the NL West for a team like the Giants that already has somewhat of a winning past, what will this ultimately bring? I've seen people cheer this on. I've seen quite a few people completely give it the side eye for, multiple reasons. So yeah, that is the one that I'm going to be the watching the most, because to give someone who has zero MLB experience this kind of job and hope that he's able to make a run with teams like Arizona and San Diego and the Dodgers. That I can't help but want to know what will come from that.
All right. Yeah, I really agree. I do agree. Like this is going to be the most interesting that we're going to watch is it's in San Francisco. I think that front offices are moving away from ego. They're replacing ego with what they want. They want someone that can grow with the organization. The type of baseball that San Francisco has to play to win ball games is a very high level, high athletic, type of baseball with the ballpark that they play in. They can't just, go out there and hit home runs. They're not going to go out there and hit 40 home runs unless you're Rafi, maybe. But the thing is, I think that this is a good move because we see, I mean, players, they get called up, from the minor leagues. Somebody had to start somewhere. So I think that this is a trend that I would like to see happen. And I think we need to not, undercut the intensity that college baseball has. These guys are making more money there. The stakes are higher. Their livelihoods are more at stake, I would say, even though the salaries are a little bit lower for managers in MLB. And I think that this is a change of guard. A lot of times people want to see it maybe an older guy, older manager who's been in the game for a while. Some guys want to see, a hot shot from the minor leagues. But this is going to be a change of guard, and I hope that other teams adopt it because it'll be really cool to see.
Interesting, because I have very much conflicted. I'm very much conflicted
Do tell.
on the hire. I'll be very interested to see how it plays out. There's a couple reasons why I'm conflicted on the hire. Because the role of a D1 powerhouse college baseball coach is extremely different than the job and the role of a major league baseball manager. And in some ways, we've seen this in other sports. Sometimes it can work out. Most of the times it doesn't, because now you've gone from dealing with 18, 19, 17, 18, 19. Now in college, it could be 23-year-old, 24-year-olds. But you're going from people that you are the sole authority as the head baseball coach of a D1 baseball program. Buck stops with you. You are sole authority when it comes to that team. It doesn't matter if you have Paul Skeens on that team. Doesn't matter if you have Christian Moore on that team. They're all listening to you as the manager. Switch over to a Major League Baseball roster. You think Rafi Devers is going to listen to, 47-year-old, I'm coming from the University of Tennessee. I have not coached in Major League Baseball. Vitola, if something is going awry. That's what. Now and again, he may be the right presence to control the atmosphere, control the room, and manage the ego. He may be that guy. I don't want to sell him short, but the role of the job is different. The way that the players are going to react is different. You hear it in the NBA all the time when they pull hot college coach Rick Pitino or John Calipari and move him to an NBA team. And they get there and they're like, these guys are making so much more money than me that they're not listening to me making them run wind sprints. Like, that's just not going to happen. With that said, I will also say another key point. A large part, not to dismiss the on the field management of X's and O's, but a large part, one of the largest, of a Division I baseball coach is recruiting.
Yes.
You got to get the right kids in your program, whether they're from the transfer portal, whether they're from high school. You've got to identify the kids and get them in the program, and then you can cultivate their talent, right? But you got to get them first.
Right.
That's a huge part of a Division I college baseball coach.
Yes.
There is zero, or if not zero, very little influence a major league manager has on player personnel. It comes from the general manager. It comes from the scouting and analytics department. So you're not, especially if you're a guy like Vitola, you're not going to have the ability to get the players in the system that you want. And again, you're not talking about one system, the University of Tennessee. You're talking about 4 different, rookie ball, high A, low A, double A, triple. It's just, you know what I mean? One man can't do it like that. Like, you just can't. I say all that to say this, and this is my last point on this. And this is why one of the main reasons I have extreme reservations. And not that he's going to be successful, but reservations of if moves like this is the right moves.
Mm.
I live in Richmond. We all know that. Richmond is a double A affiliate of the San Francisco Giants, who just made this hire. The manager in Richmond, especially for the last, I want to say 4 years, 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years, is the winningest manager in the history of the double A Giants franchise. A gentleman by the name of Dennis Pelfrey. He's an amazing coach. And this isn't about Pelf. He's a fantastic coach. But if you're any coach working your way through this system and working your way up, and you've done your job, you've won more games at double A than anybody in the history of the organization. He's the all-time winningest coach in Squirrels history. And they just hire a guy from college and put him at the top of the list. It happens all the time. But I'm looking at guys like Ricky Weeks sitting there on the Milwaukee Brewers bench. I'm looking at guys like Bo Porter and Eric Young Sr. in Anaheim or LA or wherever it is. I'm looking at Quentin Berry in Chicago and Jason Bourgeois, like different guys that are quote unquote doing things the right way. They're putting their dues in the right way. And they've been managing and associate head coaching and doing these things. Ricky Weeks has been associate head coach for the Brewers. Not just for Murphy. I think he was there with Council as well.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Brewers are really good. You don't think this guy has gets a shot to get these interviews. I say all that to say, hey, look, we will all be watching if this one works out, and it'll be interesting to see what precedent this sets with it. But there's a lot that goes into making a hire like this, and Buster Posey's the guy that he pulled the trigger for better or for worse. We're gonna see what happens.
And before we leave, I want to also add, because I'm an SEC girl, but I do think that this also tells the tale of exactly how much respect people have for SEC baseball as well. Like, they didn't just go out and get anybody. They went to a school that has shown and proven with someone who is a proven winner, who has guys in the league. So for me, I thought that this was just something to see how that actually translated. And for San Francisco, I honestly think they were like, we can try anything. We tried an experienced guy. It didn't work out the way that we had. So why not try this? It could go either one way or the other. And we've already seen the other way. So let's try it this way. That's really the move that I think that Buster did. And I thought it was a very gutsy move for him to be able to try at this point. So that's it.
All right. Well, we, like you said, we'll be able to see. We are coming up right now on first pitch. So we are going to wrap this one up. Really, really, really good show. Great input. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, again, we want to thank our partners, which is the Players Alliance, Minority Prospects, Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds, Numbers Game Scorecards. Make sure you check all of them out. Make sure you enjoy the games if you have not already. Subscribe to the Black Baseball Mixtape. While the season is winding down, we are not. There will be a lot of content coming this off season as well, especially from In the Booth and 10th Inning Talk and a lot of other things on the Black Baseball Mixtape, all platforms. So until next time,